Canto 31 of Dante Alighieri's comedy Inferno. Page 275, page snobs. Line 1. The self-same tongue that bit me first so hard that both my cheeks had colored up bright red now offered once again its remedy. So too, as I have heard the story told, the spear that both Achilles and his father bore would cause a wound that spear alone could cure. We turned our back upon this dismal deep, righting the bank that circles it around, and made our way across without more speech. Here it was less than night and less than day, so that our seeing went no way ahead. But then I heard a horn ring out so loud that thunder in comparison is vapid, and, turning back to see the echoing source, I fixed my eyes upon one single place. After the great and grievous rout at which was lost the sacred band of Charlemagne, great Roland sounded notes of no such terror. Line 19. I had not held my head turned there for long when, so it seemed, I now saw many towers, and therefore, "Sir," I said, "what town is this?" "Because," he said, "through all these wreaths of shade you rush ahead too far from what's at hand. You form of it a blurred and empty image. You'll see quite clearly when you soon arrive how greatly distance may deceive the sense. So drive yourself a little further on." Page 277, line 28. Then, with great tenderness, he took my hand. He then went on. Thank gosh Fig isn't here, right?
Oh.
And yet, before we step ahead,
I'm still underlining it for us.
Thank you. And yet, before we step ahead, so all these facts may seem less odd, you ought to know that these aren't towers, they're giants. These stand within the well around its rim, and navel height downwards, all the lot of them. As when a mist is thinning out, the gaze will, point by point, begin to recompose, the figure hidden by the steam-thick air. So, boring through that dense, dark atmosphere, approaching ever closer to the edge, false knowledge fled, and fear grew yet more great. Line 40. For as above its circling curtain wall Monteregione boasts a crown of towers, so too above the bank that rings the well stood, towering here to half their body height, the dreadful giants, who are under threat from highest Jove whenever he wields thunder. Isn't Jove a Bible figure?
Yeah, Job is.
Job. But not Jove. Jove is something. 46. By now I saw in each of these the face, the chest and shoulders, areas of paunch, and down the ribcage all their dangling arms. Nature did well, desisting from the art of forming animals like that. She thus deprived great Mars of his executors. If she, on that account, did not repent of whales and elephants, to subtle minds this will seem right and most intelligent. For when the powers of working intellect are wed to strength and absolute ill will, then humans cannot find a place to hide. In bulk and length, his face could be compared to that bronze pine cone in St. Peter's, Rome. So St. Peter is a very important Catholic saint. That's where Pope Francis is lying in state right now, open casket, for people to come and pray on viewing him. It's called St. Peter's Basilica.
They have a similar thing for the Queen of England. Like there's this showing where thousands and thousands of people can walk past him.
I never understood wanting to see a dead body.
Well,
The
curiosity.
the one and only open casket I went to was Great Grandpa Buckshot and Great Grandma Gladys. And
they were both open casket, or
no,
or was that just a?
he was still alive, and Great Grandma Gladys was the one in the casket.
Okay.
And oh boy,
I was like, is it a double funeral?
they put makeup on them, and like not like Grandma Gladys's makeup. They put makeup on like she was gonna walk down the red carpet somewhere, and like
They
just
try and make
really
us look
red
nice,
cheeks,
but
really red lips.
I think the whole point of that is to like.
I feel like that aspect, that way of doing it is a lot, and they usually do base it off of how the person would typically present themselves. So, but I get it. It's weird.
Yeah, like I said, that whole thing, I'm pretty sure, is supposed to be like something to like preserve like how the person who died looked at like their past or like how they'd want to look.
It's trying to make the body look nice, but it kind of just makes it look worse. When you really think about it, I'd personally rather see a decaying corpse.
Well, it's a way to say final goodbyes and say your piece, but it's their corpse.
Has anyone in here been to an open casket funeral?
No.
Ooh, 2, 3. Wow.
I haven't been to a funeral in general.
Oh,
I've
wow.
been to a few funerals, but they weren't open casket.
What I tell myself is when you go to a funeral, you're not going for the dead person, you're going for the people that are still alive.
Yeah.
I don't want a funeral when I die. I think funerals are ridiculous.
If I do ever have a funeral and my father tries to attend it, I need anyone and everyone there to laugh him out of that pit.
But I don't want like a casket lowering or like a no.
I take it back. I take it back.
Turn me to ash, but still, you give me a funeral.
Yeah, go. Maybe turn your. Actually, no, your dad doesn't deserve
But
to
don't
turn
put my
that.
body anywhere near it.
Oh, if he gets turned to ash, it's because he burned down in
Line 60.
because he was too stoned to escape.
His other bones were all in due proportion.
Honestly, that's probably
That's
what.
my headcanon of what's gonna happen.
That's probably what he's deserved.
Oh,
True,
he does.
what you described of him.
No. He does. That's a joke.
Wonderful.
It's only more plausible with
Line 61.
Yes.
And so that bank, his fig leaf zone or apron hanging around his loins below, displayed above, up to his mane, as much of him, line 64, page 279, as 3 tall Frisians would boast in vain. I saw their 38-inch finger spans down from the point where cloaks are buckled on. Raphael, my amici, zabi almi. So screaming it began, that fearsome mouth, unfit to utter my sweeter psalm, my leader aimed. You idiotic soul, stick to your horn, with that give vent to wrath, or any passion that you chance to feel. Just fumble round your neck, you great dumb thing. You'll find the cord it's tied to. There it rests, a chevron, see? Across your mighty breast. And then to me, he stands his own accuser. It's Nimrod there. Through his sick whim, no single tongue is spoken anywhere. So let him be. Will not speak in that vein, for every tongue to him remains the same, as his tongue is to others, quite unknown. Now, turning left, we made a longer march, and there, the distance of a crossbow shot, we found a bigger ogre, fiercer still. Who that lord was, I cannot tell, who locked these shackles round him and about. He held his right arm bound in front, his left behind, by one tight chain that tangling down was hitched a full 5 turns around the bits we saw, netherwards stretching from his neck to waist. So this is matching all the art we looked at. This one, in pride, was quick to prove his power against the majesty of Jupiter. Thus spoke my leader. His reward is this, by name Ephialtes. His deeds were done when giants caused the deities such dread. He can't now budge the arm he wielded then. And I told him, if it were possible to gain with my own eyes experiences measureless brayers, that I'd like. Line 100, 181. Antaeus, he in answer said, you'll see not very far from here, and he, unchained and speaking too, will lower us to sin's last floor. The one whom you so keenly wish to see is over there, a good way further on, constrained like these, but fiercer still in mine. Mean? No earthquake, rude in vigor, ever struck a tower with such great force as Ephialtes, writhing round, suddenly now shook himself, And, more than ever now, in mortal fear, sheer terror would have done the trick had I not seen the fetters that restrained him there. And now, as we proceeded on our way, we came upon Antaeus, rising high, omitting head, 5 yards above the pit. You there? Yes, you! In that propitious vale where Hannibal turned tail with all his men, and so made Scipio the heir of fame? You bought the spoils 1,000 lions back, and if, like all your brothers, you had joined in battle with the gods above, then some believe those earthborn sons might well have won. Then set us down, and please, no dark disdain deep in I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that I feel like I almost want to start looking up some of this stuff. So I know Charlemagne was like from the first page. I think like a kind of a uniter of some French tribes. I think France, German.
I believe that, or no, wait, no, you're right. He was French. He was like the first like proper French king or something like that.
And like was. And then Hannibal on this page, I think, was descendant from the Mongol Empire.
Hannibal? That's Carthage.
Carthage.
Carthage, yeah, the guy who crossed the Alps.
I don't know Scipio, and I don't know Coxetus. Line 124. Don't make us trudge to Titios or Typhon. This man can give you what you yearn to have. Therefore bend down and do not twist your snout. To earth he can still carry back your name. He's living still, and so expects too long, unless grace summons him before his time. My teacher spoke. The giant in great haste stretched out his hands, whose powerful clutch had once been felt by Hercules, to take him in his fist. And Virgil, when he felt himself well held, now said to me, "Come here, let me take you." He packed us in, one bundle, him and me. Line 136, page 283. Just as the Garisenda Tower, when viewed beneath its leaning side. Is that the Leaning Tower of Pisa? I mean...
Or it's just towers.
Do you think there's more than one leaning side
Well,
in
yeah,
history?
a lot of things are poorly built, but also just metaphors.
I bet you it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Somebody bet me. Logan, look it up. Garisenda.
$20. $20 it's not.
Look that word up.
It was
You don't
built
have
in
20 bucks.
1773.
Page 283.
$20 it's not.
He doesn't have $20. He doesn't have $2.
Me, I have $20. I don't.
Logan's looking it up.
What word?
Page 283. Garisenda.
Bologna, the 2 towers.
It
I already
used to
said the
be
tower.
the Tower of Dante de Pisa.
Yes!
No. The 2 towers in Bologna. The taller one is called the Asinelli, and the smaller tower with a greater lean is called the Garisenda. The 2 towers are different than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. They're square towers, not round like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Boom, $20.
Get challenged.
Outsmarted guy.
Outsmarted by Google. Oh, look, the G is a C in Latin. Line 138. If beneath its leaning side appears to fall, if any floating cloud should pass behind, so too Antaeus seemed to me, as there I stood expecting him to bend, and now I'd willingly have gone some other way. Yet lightly he set us lightly. In those depths that eat at Lucifer and Judas too. Ooh.
Lucifer and
Boom, boom, boom. I hope I'd love to meet Lucifer. I think it'd be fun.
And get, like, tortured. I mean, according to Dante, I think he's getting tortured for the rest of them.
He did not, bowing so, make long delay, but swayed again up, straight as ship masts do. All right, Canto 32.
I'm sharing those.
Look at some art for our hellish flip-offs or menageries. This one's been the first piece in like the last 4 cantos. Ooh, drowning. That would be a horrible hell if that's what they're doing. Oh, traitors.
Treachery. I'm not seeing a lot of characters in the art,
Yeah.
or any for that matter.
Would they be
Ooh, that's a haunting one.
Yeesh.
Canto 32. Page 285. Can you believe we're about to finish this book?
I know, it's weird.
Holy moly. I mean, there is no 17-year-old anywhere in Spokane that can say they've read the text that you've read this year. I mean, think about it. Catcher in the Rye, 1984, and Dante's Inferno.
so many books? Dracula.
Yeah, if you've had my X times, you can.
Yeah.
Why is
Shakespeare's other classes in past years, so Brave New World. Dear God, some of these kids read Brave New World. Tigan, don't let them.
I mean,
I feel bad for anyone who has read it.
Seniors who've had me have got a massive catalog of library
Especially if you've been here for
accomplishments. Yeah, because then you even got like Call of the Wild and
I did. I had a little bit of that.
Canto 32, line 1, page 285, please. If I had rhymes that rawly rasped and cackled and chimed in keeping with their khaki hole at which point down all other rock rings peak, I might then squeeze the juices of my thought more fully out of me. Cool sentence. But since I don't not without dread, I bring myself to speak. It's not, no kidding, any sort of joke to form in words the universal bum. No task for tongues still whimpering mum or dad. The muses, though, may raise my verse, women who once helped Amphion lock Thebes in walls, so fact and word may not too far diverge. You, ill-begotten zombies, worst of all, who stand there where to utter is so hard, better had you been born as sheep or bezoars? Line 16. Now deep within the darkness of that well, and further even though than those giant feet, I stood and gazed sheer upwards at that wall, when, out of nowhere, I heard, "Watch your step! Don't plant those feet of yours on some poor head! We're here, all brothers in this sorry crowd." I turned at this and now could see around all beneath my feet a lake of ice that seemed far less like water than clear glass. I think Barb's here. Oh, no. All right, perfect. She's bringing my lunch. I forgot it. Spaghetti. Yep, I can't complain. Oh wait, YouTube, delete that part. Glass. Oh.
Line 24, I think.
Thank you very much. Line 25, YouTube. The Danube River, in, I think, Germany and France. Danube. Even in winter, Ostrich, Never congealed its currents to so thick a veil, the dawn neither under freezing skies. Top of 287, line 28, as this, and if the crags of Tambernick had crashed down here, or Pike Pietrapana, its very fringe would not have cracked or creaked, as frogs sit croaking in the harvest month when country girls will dream of gleaning corn, their snouts just poking from the water line. Okay. Here's our artwork. So too these shadows fixed in ice-lead blue, to where, in shame, we start to blush, their teeth as rhythmic, beakily as chattering storks, and each one kept his face bent down, from mouths the cold, from hearts their miseries force a public testament of suffering. I stood a while, just gazing all around, then glancing to my feet, I saw here too, embraced so closely that their head hair mixed. Go on, I said. So tell me who you are, straining so tightly, tit to tit. Coupled, the two eased back their necks, their faces now were straight to mine. Once moist within, their eyes welled up, the teardrops flowed toward their lips, but chill gripped these to lock them in their holes. To wood never has been clamped so hard as these two were, and overwhelmed with ire, each butted each like any pair of goats. They're like headbutting. Still gripped, their hair was mixing. Line 52. Another in the frost had lost both ears. Still gazing downwards, he was first to speak. Why eye us so, as though we were your mirror? If you're so keen to know who these two are, that valley where Bisenzio streams down belonged to them, as to their father earlier. They issued from a single womb, and you may go, if you so please, through all of Cain, finding no shadow freeze in aspic fitter. So Cain and Abel, born to Adam and Eve. Cain was the naughty one. Cain had, the Bible doesn't speak of Cain's wife, but it does speak of Cain's children, who were naughty too, I think.
Yeah, because they were cursed.
Well,
yeah,
there was.
because Cain curses everything, and that's the bad in the world.
So what you don't know is out of like 8 Genesis books, the New Testament kept 3. And one of them talks about Cain's wife, and it is written at the same time as Genesis. But King James I took it out in 1608, and what it said was that Cain married his sister.
Oh, ew. That's weird. But who else would he marry? His mom?
Yeah,
There's
I mean,
nobody else
yeah.
in the world.
That's true, yeah.
So
But King James took it out. It was an original Genesis text.
did King James also probably marry his sister?
Or cousin.
Probably go. No.
Probably cousins. They all married their
Almost
cousins.
Certainly cousins.
Yeah. 59. 61. Not Mordred, even beast, breast and shadow pierced by thrusts, his uncle, great King Arthur, gave neither Furcotia, source of strife, nor this one here. Line 64, page 289, top. Whose head so annoyingly cramps my view. His name was Sassolo Mascheroni, and you, if you are Tuscan, region in Italy, know him well. However, not to drag out speeches further, be told that I'm Comiscian de Pazzi. I wait for Carlin. He'll acquit me here. And then I saw 1,000 mongrel faces bitten by frost, I shiver remembering, and always will, to see a frozen puddle, trembling as ever in the endless nip. Onwards we went, to reach the cone's last core, where all the weight of everything weighs down, and whether by intention, chance, or fate, well, I don't know. Pacing among these heads, hard in the face of one, I struck my foot. I screeched out, wingingly, "Why stamp on me? Why stamp on me, unless, of course, you're here to take revenge for Montepilti? If not, why do me harm?" I to my teacher, "Wait a little here. I'll go and free myself of doubts with him, then push me on as much as you desire." My leader paused, and turning to the one still spitting curses out, I now inquired, "So who are you, to go on scolding others?" "And who are you? You trek through Antinora bashing at other people's cheeks. Were you alive, I wouldn't stand for it." "I'm alive," I answered him. "How dear to you I might become, if fame is what you thirst for. I could well note your name among the rest." "I yearn for the opposite. Just go away and give me no more grief. You don't know how to flatter in a bog like this." And so I grasped him tight against the scalp. "You'll name yourself," I said to him. "If not, you'll find no single bristle on your top knot." Top of 291, line 100. "Don't think because you pluck my curls, I mean to say or show you bugger all. Bomb as you may meet my skull 10,000 times." I'd got him twisted in my fingers now, and had already yanked out several tufts. He barked, but kept his eyes held firmly down. Another yelling now. "What's with you, big mouth? Not satisfied to cassinate or cold jaws? You bark as well. What devil's got to you?" And then I said, "I'd have you speak no more. You're vile, you traitor. I'll augment your shame. I'll carry in your name a true report." So he's like threatening them to like talk crap about him up on top of the back in the real world, I think. "Go on, gossip all you like, but don't, if you get out of here, be silent when it comes to him. His tongue's so slick. He weeps for having fingered Frenchy Silver. Now you can say, 'I saw that man from Dera. He dwells where all the sinners keep quite cool.'" That's kind of interesting. They're freezing in icy pools, frostbitten. Like, I always thought hell was cold or was hot, and now here we're almost to the bottom of it and it's cold. "And should you ask me, are there others here besides you? There's Abbot Beccaria, the one whose gizzard Florence sawed right through. Then Ghibelline Jacques, I guess, is further on, with Ganelon and Tabaldello, too. He slid the doors of sleeping fiancé back." By now, we had already gone our way. But then I saw two frozen in one single hole, one head a headpiece, to the one below. As bread is mangled by some famished mouth, so too the higher gnawed the lower head, precisely where the nape and brain stem meet. The dying tedious in this same way and loathing chewed the brows of dead Menalippus, gnawing the skull and everything besides. Gross. "Oh, you who by so bestial a show make known your hatred for the one you eat, now tell me why." "I give my word," I said. Top of 293. "I give my word," I said, "if you complain of him with proper cause, then once I know his name and how he sinned, I'll make you in the world a fair return, provided means of speech do not fall dry."